What's poppin', y'all? With the rise of influencer boxing, which I would have to say it kicked off with Jake Paul and that English guy whose name Joe Weller. Yeah, I actually just remembered his name. And then really took it to the next level with Logan Paul and KSI series. Misfits Boxing emerged as this organization in the UK that was putting on a lot of fights. And since then, their only competitor or aspiring competitor has become Adin Ross's Brand Risk Boxing. Adin Ross, he's tried to develop his own talent coming from his community and then enlisting other people's communities for the last event. But one thing that many people did not see coming was a potential KSI and Andrew Tate fight, who Andrew Tate has called out both Jake Paul, Logan, and KSI, if I'm not mistaken. But this announcement from Misfits, who have taken one of Adin Ross's boxers in Scam Likely, who was Adin Ross's best boxer, have made a crazy announcement. And I'm going to play you guys that clip right now. We'll see how much of it we can play. They should allow us to play this trailer. And then we're going to get into it because this is a really insane development. So here, Mams Taylor, who's also the manager for KSI, announces that the CEO for Misfits is going to be Andrew Tate. Now, Andrew Tate has a huge, long history kickboxing. I think he was in ISKA, which is like sport karate, and then he went into kickboxing later. Now, this is traditional boxing, regular boxing, with just hands in Misfits, but he was leaked to fight this guy Chase DeMoor, who I wasn't really too familiar with before this announcement, but he's popular in the UK and Europe, it seems. So he's set to fight this guy Chase DeMoor. It was leaked a while ago, but the CEO thing was not leaked. And I didn't think the CEO thing was real. I thought it was just some bait, but he explained why he got into this and why he took that role from KSI. And I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
Who's Misfits Boxing?
Well, KSI tweeted something that annoyed me about 3 years ago. So, long story short, I took his company from him. And considering that I'm the largest name on the planet, if I'm going to fight on an organization, why not fight on an organization I own a percentage of? It makes a lot of business sense. I also intend on doing my very best to make sure Misfits continues to disrupt the entire boxing space. I think there's a lot of fantastic names on Misfits. There's a lot of people who are already doing fantastically well, and they can do even better. I think we can become even bigger as an org. My intention is to make the org a lot bigger than it is and make sure everybody gets paid even more money. So why not? I mean, I'm approaching this as a businessman. I'm approaching this as a fighter. I see the potential and the future of this. I think that, celebrities fighting or influencers fighting just seems to keep growing. So Misfits have already got a fantastic platform. They're already in a great place. And I think with my help, we can take it to the next level.
Do you still have beef with KSI, or is that settled now?
There's no genuine beef. I've never met the guy. I hope he's okay. He annoyed me on Twitter, so I had to get involved in his company. That's just how it goes. That's how professionals act. It's how professionals act. You piss off a banker, before you know it, he owns your street. It's just how it works.
Yeah, best not.
Chase DeMoor would also reply, who is Andrew Tate's opponent, with the following clip that I'm going to play you guys right now.
You got the biggest thing yet. You ready?
Is it locked in?
You already know.
Easy work, let's do it.
Those happened last night at Misfits 6. It was Chase DeMoor versus Stevie Knight to knockdown, and then this happened.
His career 0-4 now runs an impressive 5-fight winning streak and holds the Misfits Boxing.
Hit him several times when he's down. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second.
The right way with a
We can't have this. We cannot have this. Hey, Chase DeMoor, though, man. That is DeMoor splits the lip open of his opponent and reclaims his Misfits heavyweight title.
Oh, apparently Andrew Tate is boxing. And apparently he's boxing Chase First of all, if you guys don't know Chase DeMoor.
Boxing debut against Josh Bruckner, he wasn't exactly ready. Clear that he hadn't really done much sparring before and he wasn't comfortable.
So, the biggest fight of your life, Andrew Tate, December 20th. Goat versus a Cobra. You ready?
Let's go get him.
And then he says, first, nobody orders me to do anything. Secondly, mandatory or not, you're absolutely right. Everyone does have a plan until they get punched in the face. The thing is, my plan is to get punched in the face. Then I'm going to beat the F out of you. What happens when you send a Cobra to a goat? This Chase DeMoor guy is apparently like a giant, too. I think he's quite big. I don't know if he's like 6'4", 6'5". I know Andrew's like maybe 6'2", 6'3", because his younger brother Tristan significantly larger than him. And then KSI replies to this whole situation. Now, the KSI thing is tough because he pretty much founded this organization or helped found it and take it to the next level, but they relied on him too much. And a lot of people, even the fans of KSI, were like, yo, Misfits is just whether KSI is boxing or not. And KSI quote tweets this with LOL, and he says, "This year, people are trying to test me for real. What the actual F is going on? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's make Andrew Tate the CEO of Misfits? Are you effing serious? Legit CBA, I think that's can't be out." So let me know, my UK mans. And I know we got a couple of you guys here. He says, F Mams. Mams Taylor is the guy that made the announcement in the beginning of the clip of the Misfits trailer. And he says, bro has been focused on Misfits rather than managing me, LOL. And you decide to do this ish. I personally think this is all promo. I think because Tate even says combat executive officer instead of CEO. I think this is promo in a lead up to a KSI Andrew Tate fight. I think it makes sense to drum up the hype and get a lot of people's attention on Misfits with this Chase DeMoor guy, because the star power and name that Tate has is not what Chase DeMoor, it's not even a fraction of, or Chase DeMoor is not even a fraction of the name and pull that Tate has. And even Adin Ross reacted to this event and gave them credit, being that they're competitors to him. And I'm going to play you guys that clip of Adin Ross reacting to it right now.
I don't think KSI got fired. But I do want to say, guys, W Misfits, what the f? That's a comeback. And anyone that is genuinely not saying that's a comeback is hating. Bro, the fact that Andrew Tate is boxing is insane. I don't care what anybody says, and that's just a W for them, bro. W Misfits, bro. That's awesome. I don't care, bro. That is insane. When I saw that, like, oh my God, who's not going to want to watch Andrew Tate box? Like, what? So you got to just give flowers and, you know, give appreciation where it's due, bro. That's awesome. I'm honestly, like, blown away, honestly. I don't know how that deal was looked like or any of that, bro, but I ain't gonna lie, bro. They did it. W Misfits, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I think this is something that people have to put respect on. Like, despite whether or not people like Andrew Tate or not, somebody that's up the amount of money that he is, this is only a risk. To take that on means that this person is consistently challenging themselves and not resting on their laurels, which they could do. And hopefully Adin Ross takes a page out of this guy's book. If this guy's like, what, 15 years older or 13, 14 years older than Adin, and he's got, I don't know if he's got more money than Adin. Regardless, they've all got more money than they know what to do with. And he's still not only putting himself in the ring, but taking on new business ventures and constantly active and still fit, which is something that Adin Ross needs to get a handle of. Then Adin Ross does not have any excuse. And also had to deal with legal issues as well, that arrests, moving different countries and all that. Adin Ross needs to get back in his bag. And we will address KSI if this is at all real. KSI's got, problem is I can relate to KSI. That's the thing. Not in terms of his personality, but the urge to do so many different things, and not just the urge to do it, but putting down one thing to pick up another and then coming back to the main thing after a while and then trying something else. Because KSI's done a lot, man. KSI's done boxing. KSI has done, and he beat Logan Paul, which I don't really think he won the first fight. The second fight, yeah. He's also gotten progressively worse at boxing, surprisingly enough, as the years went by. But the guy did the influencer boxing thing, right? He already did the YouTuber thing. Now he did the Sidemen thing, which is gigantic in the UK and Europe, even though people do not really care about them in the US. Now, I want to know, are they popping in Australia? Like, is Sidemen and KSI pop? Like, KSI is popular as a figure in the US, but I mean, if we're talking like AMP, if we're talking FaZe, if we're talking, there are so many other people that have stronger pull here. The music thing, right? KSI was doing the music thing as well, which he did at a high level, quote. Also, the Sidemen charity match and him back focusing on YouTube too. There's just too many. I think he's in a relationship. Too many things that he's doing at once. It causes people that are just relying on Misfits or operating Misfits to think we've got to figure out a solution for this to run without relying on KSI, or the company's just going to die. It's not going to survive in the way that it relies on one person. Just like, for example, like brand risk, right now, it is completely reliant on Adin Ross, and hopefully Adin Ross gets motivated to make some ish shake, because he's got pull that Andrew Tate does not, in the terms of everyone wants to like Adin Ross. They just are, I guess, hesitant based on what Adin Ross says and what his friends say and how much of a brand risk it could be to them. Pun intended, with that being his promotional name, or the name of his promotion. So with KSI, I think, listen, man, like, there's too much to manage with you. You got music, you've got, even though he had one of the biggest meme songs, can we say that the KSI song with Trippie Redd do we got that beating out Soul Train? I think that might have to beat out Soul Train, right? Like, KSI's music is terrible, garbage. He's had commercial success in most things, I think, because he's such a great entertainer and he is likable, but my God, his music is buns. Like, sheesh. I mean, the only person that makes worse music than KSI is for sure Rice Gum. Rice Gum was one of the worst rappers of all time. I feel like anybody that's like, nah, bro, Rice Gum was hard, you had to be between the ages of 9 and 13. There's no way you could remember Rice Gum as being anything but garbaggio at rapping. No, if you had a definition of a rapper that had zero just flow, melody, swag, aura, whatever, it would be Rice Gum on the beat. Like, that guy had bars written for him that were good bars, and just listening to him is like, what the hell is this? Turn this garbage off. So I am actually looking forward to this. I think this is we've gotten to the point in quote unquote influencer boxing where there's levels to it. I think people were tired of, just completely inexperienced people like we're seeing with Adin Ross's brand risk. In the beginning, it was like, okay, do you guys have some real beef? If you guys got real beef, that's entertaining because you're seeing it pan out. But completely unskilled and untrained people, that's out the way. So it's kind of like we've gotten to a point where there needs to be a level of hybrid for it to be sustainable, in terms of, okay, this person is a boxer, but he's going to do a kickboxing match with somebody else, so he's in a handicap a little bit. Or this, like, Jake Paul is really trained by now, and he's just fighting people smaller than him. So there's always got to be an element of, can this person win? Or really, can this person lose who they're fighting? But here you've got people that are actually training, but it's almost like they're just turning into inferior boxers. Like, for example, who's a guy that, like Slim, right? The guy, Slimification, he's a boxer now, but it's almost like he's just a full-time boxer. So they're pro boxers, and they stop doing what got them popular in the first place, which is the YouTube stuff and all of that. And they just are not as good as professional boxers. So it's like, you're not streaming, doing content anymore, and you're boxing full-time, but you're not good as a full-time boxer, but you are really good in the influencer world. So how does that add up? I think that's a funny conclusion that we've come to at this point. But yeah, I think I'm just rambling about the influencer boxing thing in general right now. But I do think this is great. I think as a promoter, as the face of a company, like an Andrew Tate could be like a Vince McMahon of the WWE. Like, just straight entertainment level in the fight game as well. So I am looking forward to how he runs it, if it's even real. I don't think for them to just outright, I think, because he never said he's a chief executive officer. He said combat executive officer. So I am willing to bet that there is potential that they just have him as the face. But this is the thing too. I think they had to offer him at least part ownership of the organization. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. They don't have the money to pay him for it to be worth it to just hop in the ring with a Chase DeMoor of all people. And even when, like, for example, when Tate got banned off of YouTube and all of that, he got ownership of Rumble when he first moved to Rumble, when he was at his peak. So if he hopped on Rumble and got ownership there's no way that he's hopping on Misfits and doesn't at least have ownership, even though he may not be the actual CEO. We will have to see. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see you on the next one.